When I was 14 years old, I had been taking piano lessons, but the fire got lit at the age of 14 when I heard The Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky and the Fifth Brandenburg Concerto of Johann Sebastian Bach and Bebop, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, and the drummer Kenny Clark, and then later particularly John Coltrane. So many other influences, early medieval music called the Notre Dame, Perotin, and Perotin was the first person to write in 4 parts back in the 12th century, and actually this had a big effect on me. And then also some music which is not from the West. I was in Ghana studying drumming, and I studied Balinese gamelan in America, and the Hebrew chant, which I studied in New York and Jerusalem, and many other things, but those are the main influences. Wrong.
Not? Okay.
Totally wrong.
Totally wrong. It's
cliche, always wrong. I say it over and over again, but nobody stops. I'll be dead and I'll still make the same mistake. No, I was a drummer when I was 14. Yeah. I was a jazz drummer. And my idol was Kenny Clark, the bebop drummer. Later, when I finished studying with Luciano Berio, the composer, and I went back to New York City and I was doing very rhythmic music, I thought to myself, well, where is percussion the main voice in the orchestra? And the answer is in Africa and in Indonesia. So I actually began reading some books of transcriptions of there are books that have accurate transcriptions of, particularly of West African music from the Ewe tribe in Ghana. So I made arrangements in 1972 to go there. But I went there because I was already a drummer. I was already writing repetitive music. I had already written piano phase and violin phase and 4 organs and so on. And what I had seen African music in notation, but I didn't want the theory. I wanted to actually do it myself, have that experience. And what Africa was for me was like someone giving you a pat on the back saying, yes, it's more interesting to work with acoustic instruments rather than the electronics of Stockhausen and Cage, etc. And percussion is a very rich source of all kinds of music, pitched and unpitched. Drums are one thing, xylophones are another. And it was encouragement to go back and to be the drummer and the composer together. So it was important, but it was important not to make me do something I didn't know, but to make me do what I already knew, have the encouragement to do it. I want everybody to love my music, but the way that you do that, at least in my case, oh my gosh, my glasses. In any event, the way to write music that's going to please other people is, who writes the music? Me. I'm in my studio. I'm alone. There's nobody there. Mm-hmm. So I have to feel that the music is working intellectually. This is really great, and it really moves me. And it moves me today, and then next week as well, and continues that way. And then I feel I'm on the right path. I've done something that works. And I have been fortunate that when I feel it works, some other people feel it works too. The basic idea is, if I love it, maybe you will love it. Yes, this particular piece, Music for 18 Musicians, one of the main ideas was to have a larger ensemble where you don't have to look at somebody. And I found these techniques both in West African drumming and in Balinese gamelan playing, where in Africa they have a drummer will play a certain pattern that all the other drummers know, get set, we're going to change, and they change. In Bali, there are 2 drummers sitting on the floor, like with the drums on their lap, and when they get faster, everybody gets faster, and they get slower. They know to listen to the drums. Yeah. So in Music for 18 Musicians, we have 2 conductors in the ensemble. One of them is the vibraphone player. Every time the vibraphone player plays, he's saying, get, set, now, change, and everybody changes. And in the other conductor is the first clarinet, and particularly with the bass clarinet, every time he goes like this, we make changes. What I call soft edge changes. It means if you change on this eighth note, that eighth, it doesn't matter, because between this chord and the next chord, there are many common tones. So if you hold your note into the next chord, it's going to sound good. It's actually more interesting if it's a slow change. Mm-hmm. So that's the other way. So between these two players, basically what you have is a large chamber music ensemble. Over the years, I've played in museums and in nightclubs and in art galleries and in concert halls. Mm-hmm. And the most important thing is that the music works no matter where you are. If the music doesn't work because it needs a special hall, there's something wrong with the music. But I do remember, in line with what you were saying, many years ago, I think it was 1973 or 4, we were in Stockholm and we were playing at the Moderna Musik. And we were playing drumming. And I remember in the back there were a couple of people got up and started dancing. They're very quiet, very discreet. And I thought, oh, that's great.